We're joined now by Intelligence Committee Chairman Congressman Adam Schiff, who is also a member of the January 6th committee. Congressman Schiff, thank you for joining us. I want to begin with the news overnight that Donald Trump has been reinstated by Elon Musk on Twitter. Watching the January 6th committee hearings, Trump's tweets were a big part of the story to be told. What do you think of him being back on Twitter?
I think it's a terrible mistake, and you're absolutely right. As we showed in the January 6 hearings, the president used that platform to incite that attack on the Capitol. His comments about the vice president, his own vice president, put Mike Pence's life in danger. He showed no remorse about that. He continues to lie about his actions on that day. He talks about pardoning the people who attacked police officers and attacked the Capitol that day. And it contradicts what Elon Musk said, that he was going to establish a council to evaluate this, and further contradicts Musk and his claimed concern about bots on his own platform, to subject the decision to a poll on the platform that could be easily abused that way. It just underscores the erratic leadership of Twitter now under Musk, but also the security concerns with security people fleeing Twitter. And what that means for the protection of Americans' private data.
Yeah, he did it with that snap poll, and even then the vote was 52 to 48, close. But let me move on to the Merrick Garland's decision to appoint a special counsel. Was this the right move?
I think it is the right move. You make a decision like this not because you think you're going to persuade the former president you're doing the right thing, or even his most extreme supporters.
They're still going to say it's political.
They're still going to say it, but it's the right thing to do, and most particularly if you ensure that it won't cause any delay. So if the same prosecutors that have been investigating the former president and others can be moved onto the special prosecutor's team, then there's every reason to do it, no reason not to do it. And I think the person he's chosen seems to be eminently capable and qualified. My concern, frankly, has been leading up to this point, which is they were very slow at the department to work up the multiple lines of effort to overturn the election. It took them a long time to get started, and the delay has already been baked in. I hope that the special prosecutor will move with alacrity and fulfill the commitment Merrick Garland made at the outset, which is that everyone will be treated equally under the law, and that includes the former president.
Because, I mean, the timing is extraordinary. You really could have, if he gets indicted, a trial and a presidential campaign happening at the same time.
You could. And, you know, look, for 4 years when he was president, the department took the position, which I think is flawed as a constitutional matter, that you can't indict a sitting president. You can't now take the position, well, you also can't indict a former president who wants to run again. Otherwise, that president becomes above the law, and the founders would have never subscribed to that idea.
What does this mean about the January 6th committee's deliberations about a criminal referral? Will you be making a criminal referral or referrals?
You know, we're in the midst of reaching a conclusion on that right now. Should we make referrals? What kind of referrals should we make? I don't want to get ahead of that decision, but I can say that I think Judge Carter in California, who analyzed just one small piece of this, concluded that the former president and others were engaged, or there was evidence they were engaged in a criminal conspiracy, evidence they were engaged in an effort to stop an official proceeding, the joint session. I think the evidence is there to make a referral, and we just have to decide whether that's the course we're going to take.
Trump has said that he won't partake in the investigation. I don't really know what that means, but he's already defied the January 6th committee and your subpoenas. Will he, before this lame duck is done, will he be held in contempt of Congress for that?
We're discussing that. We have very limited options, and even where we have held people in contempt, we're only batting 50% with the Justice Department and a willingness to enforce it. But once again, Donald Trump took the cowardly way out. Unlike other presidents that have fulfilled their duty even after office and testified before Congress. Very not surprising with the former president. It was disappointing with the former vice president, who, like others before him, sadly said, I can't share this information with the American people and Congress, but I can write a book about it. That's very disappointing.
So obviously we have the Republicans winning back control barely of the House. One of the things that Kevin McCarthy has said is that he's going to strip you of your position on the House Intelligence Committee.
Well, I suspect he will do whatever Marjorie Taylor Greene wants him to do. He's a very weak leader of his conference, meaning that he will adhere to the wishes of the lowest common denominator. And if that lowest common denominator wants to remove people from committees, that's what they'll do. It's going to be chaos with the Republican leadership. And sadly, the kind of the crazy caucus has grown among the Republicans. Many Republicans who won primaries in deeply red districts are coming to Congress, like the Marjorie Taylor Greenes and the Paul Gosars. And it's
you
a
also have
tragedy
some that
for the
won in
country.
moderate districts. I mean, it's going to be hard if he goes too much in one direction. He's going to have to worry about the other direction. One of the other things that Republicans are saying is they're going to launch all matter of investigations: Hunter Biden, Anthony Fauci, the border, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You were harshly critical of the Trump White House and Donald Trump himself for defying congressional subpoenas, not cooperating with congressional oversight. What's your advice to the Biden administration? Should they comply with subpoenas and cooperate with oversight from this Congress?
They should cooperate with appropriate oversight. They should follow the law, and that means complying with subpoenas. But they're going to need to analyze whether the Republicans are following appropriate procedures and whether they're doing this just for vexatious purposes. And I don't envy the task they're going to have. But we continually...
But they should cooperate. They should. I mean,
they should cooperate with appropriate oversight. I think they will cooperate with appropriate oversight. But we continually face a variation of the same question, which is, should the Democrats do the appropriate thing when Republicans have consistently refused to? I think we maintain the high ground. We follow the law. We follow our responsibilities under the separation of powers. But that doesn't detract at all from the abuse that we saw during the Republican administration. So
I want to ask you, you're on the Intel Committee. You've spoken out strongly against Saudi Arabia and their leader, Mohammed bin Salman's claim, actions regarding Jamal Khashoggi, his implications in that murder. Now we've seen the Biden administration say that he has immunity while he is effectively the head of state for Saudi Arabia. I want to read something that Fred Ryan of the Washington Post said in reacting to that. In granting legal immunity to Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, President Biden is failing to uphold America's most cherished values. He is granting license to kill to one of the world's most egregious human rights abusers, who is responsible for the cold-blooded murder of Jamal Khashoggi. What do you think of that move?
I don't support the granting of immunity. This is a guy who was involved in the murder and dismemberment of a person residing in the United States of America, a journalist. We ought to put our value on life, not oil. And I think this is a tragic decision. I don't think it was a necessary decision. They clearly, in Saudi Arabia, contrived to put him in the position of prime minister days before this court decision.
To get this.
We didn't have to go along with it, and it's antithetical to our values.
And finally, before you go, today is Joe Biden's 80th birthday. Do you think he should run for re-election?
I think he should. I think he's extremely capable. What he's been able to do in the last 2 years is an unprecedented level of accomplishment. And if he wants to continue, I'm for him.
All right, Adam Schiff, thank you for joining us here on This Week.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.